Well, it's been a while since I've done anything with Tillandsia or air plants, and given the great weather we have been having in the Northeast, I felt like I could give them some time outdoors, at least for the next few months before it starts getting chilly again. I rescued one of my Tillandsia ionantha plants from Brooklyn. It basically had been hanging neglected in the recent past in a glass container from my ceiling and had put out a pup within the last few years. But without consistent watering, the pup died back, so I'll be soaking this one and trying to revive it. These species in particular are native to Central America and Mexico, and I had seen my fair share of Tillandsia growing in the wild when I was last in Costa Rica, and I'll actually be returning to Costa Rica soon enough on a group botanical field trip, which we may have some openings for, so I'll speak of that in an upcoming video soon. But I was feeling a little creative and figured I'd create a little Tillandsia installation outside. Now, I had these vintage birdhouses which used to hang in my Brooklyn apartment, and I also picked up a box of beautiful seashells from one of the local auction houses. And I didn't quite know what to do with the latter, but after looking at my Tillandsia, I figured they would be lovely pieces to potentially display the air plants. We've been putting in new gardens behind this house and installed a new patio and have a number of my other houseplants out of doors, so it just kind of feels right to include the Tillandsia out here too. We should have enough humidity and get enough rain throughout the summer to satisfy an air plant's needs, but soaking them with a little organic fertilizer for 30 to 60 minutes is something I wanted to do before leaving them outside. Now, this Tillandsia latifolia variation, latifolia, was about to bloom, so I kept the bloom just above the water. And I'm really hopeful that this will bloom when it's outdoors because I'm so curious to see if any of our native pollinators, whether butterflies or bees, hummingbirds, or otherwise, will care to pollinate this plant that I'm sure they've never encountered before. And the Tillandsia usnoides was already looking so lush, but I decided to soak that too. And I figured these could just hang from the branches of the maple tree behind the house as they would in their native habitat. The Tillandsia concolor was a bit too stiff for display in the shells and way too big for the bird cages that I had, so I'll be tying that strictly to the tree, or maybe I could get some other display case in the future that could house that. My guess is that I could likely keep these out until maybe the last week of September or maybe the first week of October if we're really pushing it, but typically they start to get damaged at around 45 degrees Fahrenheit, which is roughly around 7 degrees Celsius. So as the summer forges ahead and fades into fall here in New York, I'll have to keep an eye out on the weather. I think hanging these plants under the tree's branches will help protect the plants from the harsh sun, but many of the Tillandsia, you'll notice, have these trichomes, which are these soft white hairs on the leaves. And this can serve to help keep water in, bring water into the leaves, but also protect the plants from the sun. Those without any noticeable trichomes, you probably shouldn't be leaving those out in too much direct sun because they could probably get damaged. Now, I added some finishing touches with an outdoor garden bench that wraps around the tree, and I think overall it gives the area a really whimsical, charming, cottagey look. Well, stay tuned here because I'll be doing some more plant chores and projects throughout the summer months, and thank you to all the folks who watch and subscribe this channel. It means a lot to us. And we also offer a number of online houseplant care sheets and courses online, so you could access those over at homesteadbrooklyn.com and also the houseplantmasterclass.com. And you could stay tuned here because I'll be sharing more about the botanical excursions that we're doing later this year and probably next year as well. So until then, we'll see you in the next video.